Hello there. I'm Nana,
I'm Dee
and this is Spooky Time.
with Nana&Tee.
Hey, pretty-
We're a new channel. We
yeah,
like to do spooky stuff.
that's right. Hence the name.
Spooky stuff.
So we thought we'd introduce ourselves and let y'all know we would like you to share with us your spooky stories, and we will be happy to share them on our channel
Yeah.
with others.
Yeah. And we'll share some of our things. We like to go ghost hunting. That's our girls' night. We don't drink, have any parties
No,
or anything like
it's
that.
much more fun to go
That's
haunt the spirits.
that's our girls' day. Woo! Girls' day. So we kind of wanted to just introduce ourselves. First video. We put up a little short. Um, that was the courthouse here in the town that we live in. And I don't know. I think every
It's
courthouse is
well,
haunted.
that one definitely is.
Oh
It
yeah.
was the original site was built in the early 1800s. Of course, it's been, remodeled and whatnot, but it's still got so much of the same original stuff inside. It's beautiful.
It's
If I can get a
beautiful.
chance and they'll let me, I'll go like at least take some video of the inside because it's really pretty.
That's so pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, so we'll kind of get into what we're wanting to talk about today.
Mm,
I was gonna kind of interview Nana.
yeah.
I almost said your name.
Oh, yeah. Listening to
I was
see
gonna
my
interview
name.
Nana about one of her experiences she had when she was younger.
So,
Um, yeah.
which
So kind of just give us a backstory of like what happened, what it was
which one are we doing?
about.
Which one
The
are we
little
doing?
guy, the little green guy.
Oh, the little green guy.
Little
Oh my
green
God.
guy.
So, yeah.
Okay, so where did it happen?
So it was at my great aunt's house in the summer. We, all of my cousins and I would go and kind of hang out there because they had a nice big piece of property and we would run around and do whatever. That was back in the, oh gosh, early 70s, mid 70s.
Where's her
It
Nana's
was,
house?
no, it was my great aunt's.
Great aunt's
And it
house.
was in Ohio. This is when I lived in Ohio.
Ohio.
And I was probably the oldest. Yeah, I was the oldest of all the cousins. And it was mostly us girls. I think I had one boy cousin, so he didn't come that often.
Too much estrogen.
Yeah,
Oh.
too much estrogen for him. Plus, he was the youngest, so that it was really weird for him. But I was the oldest, so when my cousins were younger and they weren't able to like, go around the full house because she had a nice good sized house and they had a big full basement, but not all of it was finished. There was like a wood shop that I would call finished. That was my uncle's. Even the laundry area wasn't finished. And then my aunt was like one of those antique hoarders. She had antiques. I swear they were back from Jesus time. I don't know. They just looked so old, and some of them were really creepy. Um, but they had like this one area you had to kind of squeeze through all these antiques, and then there was this one open area that had a pool table where us kids would go down and try to play pool. But a lot of the time, before they were old enough to even go down the stairs, I was running around on my own. So I think I was about kindergarten age, maybe, or just before kindergarten, 5 or 6, when I noticed um, these little green men. So they
How
kind
big?
of looked.
Like the size of my
I
head?
think that, yeah, this the tallest one was maybe about like this, and there were some that were smaller, and they had like really dark dark eye, like their whole eye looked like it was a pupil, and they were like, I don't know, they weren't cat eyes, but they were not shaped like roundish. They were really
Almond.
weird. I
Almond?
would say, yeah, but you know how a cat's eyes are like this? Theirs weren't,
Okay.
so it was really weird looking. I don't know, and
What kind of color?
they well, they were a green shade. Some were lighter than others. The one that kind of messed with me, and the rest of us kids, he was the bigger one, and he was a little darker. I would not quite as green as this. I don't know if this shows up green,
That looks
but
like
it
black to
was
me.
more of a crayon green, I guess, not that light pea colored green, like a grass green,
Like a grass green.
a light grass green.
Okay.
And he he dressed sort of like a gnome, sort of. I mean, in the clothes he had on, and his hands, he had long nails, and he had these teeth. That's, I think, what scared all of us kids was the teeth. They were. I don't know, they were all, it was like he had too many teeth for his mouth. Not like he had two rows like a shark, but it looked like he was had way too many teeth for his mouth. And of course, the eye teeth were very long.
Okay.
And I first noticed him. My aunt had this really old yoke for like a horse, like when they would hook him up to plow. And it was, I don't know, it was big and shaped weird. And it was
It's like one
right
of
at,
those things that look like this, kind of a little bit.
yeah, it
Yeah.
comes like this and goes around the horse's
Yeah.
head.
Okay.
And it was stuck. You looked right down the stairs. That's the first thing you saw. And it was hung in the wall with this huge nail, the old fashioned square um, iron nails.
Mhm.
And it had to have been stuck in there pretty good because it was up there for years. And I thought I was the only one that saw these things because growing up, I used to see a lot of things that nobody saw. In fact, I used to think I was pretty crazy. Um, but I just, took it as, oh, it's just one of those things that I'm seeing and nobody else sees because nobody else said anything. And when I'd go down there to play and stuff, he'd kind of like throw things or, try to scare me. But since none of them ever really came up and did anything, they just did stupid stuff like that. I was just like, oh, he's just messing with me.
Did
Because
he
again,
like when it was like was he like growling or making any weird
no,
noises?
no,
Did he
he
like
didn't make a lot of noises. He might, like kind of grunt a little at you or something, just to get your attention. Like if I didn't notice him, I did once even notice him. Yeah, something like that. And if there were two of them, a lot of times you only saw one, even though there were more. And sometimes they would like jabber at each other, and
super weird language?
it was super weird. I mean, literally, it sounded like they were going. It meant nothing to me. I don't know
That
how
was
they
so
understood
good. You
each
should
other.
do that again.
But so they, he was the one though that I saw mostly. The other ones, you'd see them, they'd kind of look at you and then psh, they were gone. So, and I don't know if it's because they were smaller, maybe they were younger, or maybe there was some kind of hierarchy where he's the only one that'll really scare people and they just could hang out. I don't know. But they didn't seem to be so much interested in messing with us as he did. As my cousins got older, apparently, without me knowing about it, they were seeing them too. And my aunt and uncle, my aunt died first, and then my uncle moved in with his son and daughter-in-law, and then he died. And at his funeral, my oldest cousin, second to me, she gave his eulogy, and he was our favorite uncle. He was really funny. He had had a appendix taken out year before we were even a twinkle in our dad's eyes. And us kids, he had this huge scar because this was back in the day before surgeries were great. And
Laparoscopic.
yes, they didn't have that.
Little
It was one of those cut you wide open and yank things out. And it was a pretty bad looking scar. And he used to tell us kids that he was shot with a bow and arrow from an Indian when he was fighting with them. And I know that sounds very inappropriate, but that's what he told us. And we were kids, and that was back in probably the 60s then, 60s, early 70s. So we watched all those old fashioned cowboy shows and stuff. So that's what we knew. And we believed him. We 100%, oh, Uncle Bob, he got shot by
yeah, some engines with an arrow. Oh goodness.
So, because there was no internet for us to look that kind of crap up, okay? This was before the world became technological. And he told us those kind of stories, and he did believe in aliens. He really did, and he let everybody know. And that's another story in and of itself. So she told all of these stories, and then she came to this one about the little green men in the basement.
The one that was doing the
The one
eulogy.
that was doing the eulogy.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, I sat, and it's like everything kind of came in. It's like, she saw them too. I really didn't know. So after, everything was done and we were all going to the little thing afterwards, I went up to her. I'm like, you talked about little green men. She says, oh yeah, in the basement, there were these little green men. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What did they look like? So she described them just like I described them to you. And she brought up one time when we were all together and my aunt was sending me down in the basement for something, and it was dark. Went to turn the light on. The light, of course, didn't come on. The light was burnt out, and it was dark down there. And I'm like, well, I'm not going down there. I mean, and it wasn't even that I was scared. It was like, it was really dangerous with all her antiques and stuff. You really needed to see where you were going. And they were those kind of stairs. They're like in between the slats, it was open. So I
I
was
don't like
younger
that.
then, my feet were smaller. There was a couple times I missed and got in there. Yeah, I was,
I'm not the stairs.
I'm not real coordinated. Okay, I'm gonna lay that out there.
Me too.
And so she said, well, I'll hold a flashlight for you so that I could go down and get whatever it was she wanted. I'm like, okay. So as I went to go down the stairs, she's holding the flashlight. The most frequent place I saw this stupid little guy, I should have named him, but I never did.
Oh,
He would be
so
on
many
that
opportunities.
stupid yoke, the horse yoke, trying to pull that stupid nail out of the
Oh
wall
yeah,
with his
creepy.
teeth, which is what really was like, man,
Oh,
because I had braces back then, and it was like, oh wow, that's got to be painful. So
yeah. It's
I'm
like
going,
nails on a chalkboard.
yeah, it was awful.
Oh,
So I'm going down the stairs. She's holding this flashlight, and that thing just, he's on there. I see him, but of course I don't react because I'm thinking she doesn't see
she
him.
doesn't see it.
So he managed to get it out that time. He pulled the thing out and
Ugh.
bam, it went down.
The
And
thing
he's
is,
like,
those things are heavy.
they are.
Oh my gosh.
They are. And he's like laying on the floor, but and he's like, and he's all pissed off, like, well, I don't know what he expected, but
Well, you were
and
trying
then
to
he,
get it off.
yeah. So what did you think you were gonna do with it? So
Was
he
it
ran
an
off.
iron nail?
Yeah, it
Like
was
one of those
heavy. It was like this
railroad
long.
railroad spike thingies?
No,
They
it wasn't quite railroad spike, but it was long.
maybe he liked iron.
I
Maybe
don't know,
he was
maybe he was,
low on
well,
iron
he
or
was
something.
green. I don't know. Well, you know, they used to say Vulcans had.
Oh god.
Yeah, never mind. Anyway, well, that would they didn't have iron. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it fell, and she was like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, don't worry, it's just a little green man." Trying to be funny. I was trying to be funny, and she's like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
So I made it down there, and I got what they wanted, and I came back up, and that was the end of it. And so when we talked about it, I brought that up, and she's like, "Yeah, I saw him. He pulled that nail out of the wall." I could have crapped myself right then and there because I was totally shocked. I'm like, "How come you never said anything?" She says, "Because I thought I was the only one that saw him, and he didn't act mean or anything, so
Yeah.
it didn't scare me." I'm like,
I would poop my pants.
"Oh my."
I would totally poop my pants.
So I'm like, "Well, did I was talking about our other cousins? Did any of them?" She said, "No, not that I know of. They never said anything." And she said, "I did bring it up to one of my other cousins, and she never saw it. She didn't know what I was talking about. So it was just me and her. And I don't know why just me and her, but it was really creepy."
You could see the fairies. What do you
Yes.
think? And did you ever go back? Like, did you go back? Like, did you guys still? Did they still own the house? Did it like get
No, by the time,
sold?
yeah, because when my aunt got really ill, they moved into a smaller place and they sold it, and that was
And did you hear any stories about weird men anymore? Like, did you ask them? Did you follow up with anything?
my aunt. Well, my aunt didn't know anything about him.
Uh-huh.
If I think if I'd have brought it up to my uncle, he probably would have saw him. He probably saw him too. I wouldn't doubt it,
Mhm.
but I never brought it up to either of them, so I have no idea. I really don't. And actually, come to
Actually.
think of it, they actually moved to another house before, it was like right before she started getting sick, that they totally gutted and remodeled. She was an amazing carpenter, believe it or not. And it was like 2 years after they finally got it finished and she got sick. And I remember they had just gotten all of the antiques moved in there, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, we got to move all those damn antiques out again." So yeah, when she finally did pass, they had this huge antique sale, and I'm telling you, she got robbed because they just sold it for whatever because they had no idea. And when my mom, who was a big antique enthusiast, um, when she went back and like looked things up, they got pennies for them. They could have gotten so much more, and that they used that toward her, her hospital bill and all of that stuff. So that was kind of a shame they didn't pay attention to that. They just wanted to get rid of them. So yeah, but that was my one of my first ones. Not my very
I'm
first. I
fine.
mean, gosh, yeah. But that was one of my very memorable ones, especially
Yeah,
since,
you were in kindergarten. I don't remember a
yeah,
lot
oh
when I was
yeah.
in
Well, when I
kindergarten.
first started noticing them, I was, because before that I didn't go down in the basement,
Yeah.
and they didn't come out of the basement. I don't know why, but I never saw them anywhere but in the basement. And according, that's all the only place my cousin saw them. And again, I didn't say anything to my uncle. He might have, I don't know, maybe they were running around the house with him. I don't know.
Hmm.
Again, that's a whole nother story with aliens. So
That'll be next time. Yeah. Oh, that's so creepy. What do you think they would be?
you know, I don't think they were aliens. I mean, they could have been. Maybe they were interdimensional aliens. I don't know. After I got a little older and I started reading about the Fae and how they're not all pretty, not all of them are
Mhm.
pretty and stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
they were Fae, but usually if they're a little bit more. I don't think they would have lived harmoniously with us or let me walk around the basement and not,
Well, you guys seemed to not piss them off, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you
And
guys
we were
lived with
kids.
them.
We're always leaving things around down there for them. Like I don't know how many times we left food down there, and Aunt Iona would find the crumbs, and she'd yell at us, "What are you guys doing eating in the basement? You're supposed to. You're gonna have mice in there." Sorry,
We sure
never
don't
saw a
have
mice.
a mice
And
problem.
there wasn't. There wasn't. And when they lived there, they had a dog, but they did not have a cat. Now, when they moved to the other place, they didn't have a dog. They had cats. But so there was no cat to take care of the mice if there were any, and
Yeah.
I never
And no dog
even saw
barked or
droppings.
like no
Nope.
dog
I
like
do know
looked at the
he
stairs or whatever and
he
be
would
like, I'm
not
not.
he would not go
Oh,
down there. He would not go down there.
ew, creepy.
No, he would
That'd be
rather go out on
creepy.
the outdoor porch if he had to be going somewhere than to go down that basement.
Huh.
Even in a thunderstorm, which he absolutely hated. He was a big short-haired German Shepherd with this cropped off tail.
What's a
I
table?
can't talk either, by the way. At least not English. And he would crawl. He'd try to crawl his big fat hairy butt under a bed. And her beds, of course, were all antique beds. So half of them were only there's only like this much room. I gotta put it
Oh my god, he's so
for
tiny.
him to try to crawl under there.
He's a
So we were
kitty.
trying.
He's
We
a
always
dog
have to help
kitty.
him out. You know,
Aw.
he's such a knucklehead. They called him Baron. He was a sweetheart.
Mm.
But yeah, that was one of my
Creepy
creepy
gnome
creepy
stories.
gnome stories. Yeah.
He's not a garden gnome.
No, no. And
I've heard
I
cool
never
stories.
thought about it, but they kind of could fit the description of those little beings that they have over in um, North Carolina that the Native Americans talk about. The, I can't think of the name of it. The name literally translates one who shoots poison arrows, and I can't think of.
Hmm.
But they're pretty popular there in that triangle.
Yeah.
Maybe they're down.
Maybe somebody can let us know what they think, or if they have their own little
Yes.
stories.
Yeah, maybe you've seen them before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was
I
in
never.
Ohio.
Yeah, I was in Ohio, but that
Okay.
doesn't mean that they're
Yeah.
specific to that area. Especially if they are an interdimensional being or some kind of alien. They could, I don't know, maybe open portals or whatever. But yeah, I never found them to be aggressive, which was
They
weird.
just had
They looked,
creepy, long,
yeah,
sharp
they looked
teeth.
like they would. They had that look,
Oh,
like you know when you go to somebody's
I'm
house
sure
and they
if
have,
you like piss them off, they'd be like, "Come here, I'll bite your leg
well,
off or something."
maybe.
But it didn't seem like it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe because we weren't afraid too. They figured out, oh well,
Well, and
we
you were
can't
so
really
young and
scare 'em.
innocent, and maybe you could see
Yeah.
things then too, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was weird, but yeah. But it was nice that she saw them too. It kind of validated it. So I wasn't
I'm
crazy
not
as
crazy.
I thought I was. I'm crazy. Don't get it wrong now. But I'm not that crazy.
Not that kind of crazy.
Not that
I don't see things.
Well, I can't say I don't see things. But at least I know that it's not my mental instability.
That's the one.
It might be mentally unstable, but that's not part of it.
Anyways, we appreciate you guys watching our video.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So please, if you enjoyed this, or please like, leave a comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, we'll leave it in the description below.
Yep.
How you can contact us. Leave.
Yeah, the email is there.
Leave comments. Like we could get a hold of you there too, and then.
Right. That's
how this channel is gonna go. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun.
It'll get better. I promise.
Oh yeah.
I promise.
And then probably this video. I don't know. Might have to put a light behind it. We're gonna do some editing. We can't see our face very well.
Yeah, for me that's good. Be happy. Be happy you can't see my face very well. I'm
old. So beautiful.
Oh,
okay. Well, thank you guys so much again. This is
Nana.
And this is T.
And this was Spooky Time.
Spooky time with
Spook to us.
Nana&Tee.
Spook to us.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.